All right, one thing that I do like to draw a lot is our birds. So this is a bird that I often see. Obviously, it's a sparrow, often see in my garden, and it was one that I wanted to make a little entry of. I wanted to practice it, so I wanted to show you. That means you might say, what do I draw today? I don't know. Well, you might look out your window and you might see birds. I don't know, depending on where you live. And you might be a little bit intimidated by how you go about drawing that. So I wanted to take you through the steps of how I draw a bird. And I wanted to break it down and show you that it really doesn't have to be intimidating. When you look at any object, you can see that we can break it down into shapes. We basically have an oval here, circle here, another oval here, maybe a triangle there. Okay, so lots of different shapes, and that's really how I start to draw these. Okay, so let's give it a try. Okay, and let's just hope it turns out here. First of all, when I'm drawing, I like to hold my pencil really loosely, and that way I'm not gripping it really tight, drawing really hard lines. I'm holding it very loosely, and that way I might make some mistakes along the way with it, but they're easy to erase. Okay, so I'm going to draw an oval, and I'm just going to draw it over and over again until I get about the shape I think I'd like. And I'm going to put a circle. Now I can't draw a perfect circle. I don't need to for this either, but I know where I want it. And another little oval here. How's that? And I don't even think I'm going to put that beak in yet, but I could if I wanted to. So there, already you can see I have basically the shape of this bird, okay? So from here, I just start to draw a little bit harder. So I'm going to take a line of that bird that I see, and I am going to kind of connect it. Now, I don't want to do too much connecting because I know that on my bird, it will have some feathers and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of stop here, but I'm going to come around to this side of the bird. And right about here, let's go ahead and add that beak. So technically, it's not just a triangle, right? It's not just this. It's a triangle that comes into the face a little bit. So I know there's a geometrical name for that, but we're just going to put two triangles together, okay? So let's do that. All right, so I have this portion of this triangle here, comes back, and then there's a portion of it that goes into the face, back, all right? Now I don't have to have that line obviously in the middle. This is more of the beak, okay? So there we have beak. All right, so I have that, and then I'm going to, it's not going to go in as far as those two circles go. I know that the bird is going to be a little bit puffy in there, so I'm just trying to use those initial drawings as a guideline and go from there with it. So now here I can add the tail, that oval of the tail, and I'm going to straighten it out a bit though. And this portion I am going to bring up as a wing, okay? Maybe another one or two. All right, so might look a little bit simple, but here I can now subtract the extraneous marks that I don't need anymore. And you can see our bird, okay? And I'm going to add an eye. And now the thing that delineates birds is all their markings. So I'm just going to add some, and this is from a photo that I found on Upsplash, which is an amazing resource if you're ever looking for photo of something, and it's free photos to use. It's a great source of inspiration and just reference photos. So I'm going to put some lines in here. All right. Oh, he does need some feet. So this foot is maybe back here. And maybe today I don't want to draw birds' feet. Or maybe I'm a little bit intimidated by that because they're a little bit wonky. So I'm going to just put this bird in the grass. So I'm going to redo the coloring of that on here. And that's possibly what I've seen out my window today. Now, what else can I say about this bird? Well, I can write some facts about this bird. I can specify that this is a and I'm going to make it a little bit, hopefully, interesting lettering by varying the size of things in my letters. I'm going to add little serifs to my letters. I think that looks fun. Okay. All right. And then I can specify different things, maybe things that I observed about the sparrow in my yard, what it was eating, what kind of behavior it was exhibiting, what date it was, what were the weather conditions of that day. All those things can contribute to how I do my journal entry. So, all right. So since this is watercolor journaling though, let's go ahead and apply some paint to this bird, okay? All right. I don't need to do a lot for this, not a lot of colors here. I'm first gonna use some yellow ochre. It's a great color also to have in your palette. And I'm gonna make his head this color. And I'm going to put portions of his back, portions of the feathers, portions of his under carriage there, this color. It's sort of my first layer, my base layer on this guy. Okay. And then I'm going to grab some sepia, which is a darker brown, and we're just going to blend some of that into. Some of that in, put some of that in the feathers there. And maybe this guy has a little marking in here, the sepia. Okay, and he's got a little bit of a beard too, and it's hard to see if it's brown or black, but we're gonna go with a little bit of both. So I don't have black on my palette. I use Payne's gray for my blackish color. It's a great versatile color. And I'm going to put some of that, more of that brown around his eye a little bit. And I don't need this all to be perfect. He's got some kind of speckled areas, some darker areas. Okay, speckled areas in his feathers. So one thing that you might notice right away is that the watercolor will dry lighter. I'm already seeing that with the yellow ochre, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that. Some areas. Again, not being too picky. I don't need this to look exactly. Okay, and that's not a cop out for not wanting it to or not trying harder. It's my journal entry. I don't need it to be perfect. I want it to be fun. So I am going to grab a smaller brush, which is probably right in front of me. I can't see it. Okay. So I can paint these little legs. And I'm going to just do them in a light brownish color. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go after the beak. Now the beak, I'm going to use that same Payne's gray, but I'm going to put a ton of water. Okay, so I'm going to put a ton of water in here so that I have a really dilute puddle to work with. And it looks really blue, but it'll be all right. I'm going to lay that down. And then once that dries, I can make a darker line within it. All right, and I'm going to go in with a darker concentration of that same color for the eye. Trying to leave a little white border around the eye. Yeah, painting the outer portion of it too. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this bird is hopefully going to be in the grass here. I think my tail got really light color too, so I want to darken the tail up a little bit. Let's put a little more color under his belly. Okay, so now in the grass here, I need to make some grass, so that way I don't have to draw his feet. So I'm just going to use different strokes with my brush here. I am just going to go like this. And I'm going to grab some different greens so that there's some variety. All right. Or maybe it's not in the grass, maybe it's in the snow, depending on where you are. I'm going to grab another green. Okay. And all right. So we've got our bird. He's sitting on the grass, and now I'm going to dry this and add some more details about it. Okay, so I want to put a little more information about this bird to make my journal page complete. So I want to put some things about that I've learned about the bird. So I'm going to put, well, let's see. I'm going to put, maybe I'll put what they eat. So they eat seeds, and insects, so that's one thing I can put about them. Let's see, I'm going to put the size. We're going to say, oh, like 4.5 inches. Okay, let's see how much. So I'm going to put the weight, WT, put that, and that's only half, oh wow, half an ounce. So 0.5 to 1.5 ounces. Okay, all right, what else can we say about them? I wonder where we could say that they are from. Okay. when they nesting, we can put something about nesting in here. Trying to make my lettering a little bit different in different areas. Okay, so they lay 3 to 6 eggs. My eggs are going to be shaped in the egg. My egg is going to be, okay, let's do that again. Let's make an egg shape. All right, E, G, G, S, 3 to 6 eggs. Okay. I'm a little bit of a minimalist, so I don't like to write a lot of things about this, but from here and update my page. All right, so I have that all updated with my marker. And the great thing about adding the marker to things is I can change any mistakes I have. I know I had a little, I just had written seed instead of seed, so it's nice to be able to fix that. Yeah. All right, so obviously much more I could do with this, but I am, like I said, a little bit of a minimalist. And there's a little journal page for you. So very simple. I like to do things simple. That's just my style. You might want to fill the whole page with information, like what kind of behaviors you saw that bird doing. Was it was it scaring the other birds away? Was it only eating on the ground? Was it eating at a feeder? Different things like that. So that's just an example of one type of journal page.